we brought him in. He's an actor and also involved in different organizations like Homeboy Industries and other things. So, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Alright. I grew up in East Los Angeles. I'm a second generation Mexican American. My dad was from Mexico, and he came over here when he was a kid, and my mom was born over here. So yeah, I grew up just through poverty, you know, like through trying to like most Mexican Americans, you know, just working from check to check, and that's kind of how I grew up, from my grandparents down to my mother. So like growing up in Los Angeles, East Los Angeles, I mean, you're influenced by your surroundings. You're gonna become whatever your surroundings are, more than likely. Few get out, but more than likely you're gonna be affected. And that's kind of what happened with me. I went to school, and my dad left when I was young. So just growing up with my mother and father, just really there but not there, you know. And that's just how it is. Like, that's how thousands of us, millions of us grow up throughout the nation. So I ended up getting involved in gangs, and like at 13 years old, like I was already starting my transition, you know. I see that everybody's trying to belong to something, you know, and some people become jocks, some people become like party crews or whatever and whatnot. And my whole thing was I got into gangs, and in the 1970s, my family already had been involved in gangs. So by the time I came around in the 1990s, it was already kind of in me. And 13 years old, I started going to jail, and that's kind of how the cycle began. And I spent my childhood in gangs, and eventually graduated to as an adult, going to jail and prison.
Did you have any positive role models growing up?
Yeah, I think there's always positive role models. There's always love. When I think of positive, I think of love. And there was always love there, you know, but it's just that I say it's not that they didn't love you, it's that they didn't know how to love you. So they were there, but like it's just the struggle between what the streets teaches you and what the family teaches you sometimes. And but I did have positive role models.
What did your family think about your involvement in gangs?
Like I said, my family thought of my involvement as gangs. My family had been involved in gangs since the 1970s. So it was kind of like, of course they don't want that, but in the back of their head, like, it's kind of accepted, you know, because like my family had been involved, and the community, like you grow up in this community seeing it, and so yeah, of course it hurts them, but at the end of the day, like, I'm my own individual. It is what it is.
Did you ever feel like you left your real family and you found a new family within your gang?
When I think of the word family, I think of it as belonging to something. So I didn't really belong. I felt that the love that I was searching for I found it in the gangs. And yeah, that's kind of where it was at.
How was your neighborhood affected by gang violence?
My neighborhood was affected by gang violence by I think by just growing up and accepting it. You learn to like, even before you engage in physical gang violence, you grow up in school just seeing this, you know, and so by the time you're in school, it's not a big deal because my friend's dad is a drunk, and he beats his mom sometimes, you know, and you know this is happening, or the neighbor just got the cops called on him. So like it's not like, oh wow, I didn't know that was happening. So growing up in the neighborhood, you just accept it.
Do you ever miss your old life in the gang?
No, I never missed my whole life. But like, I accept it for who I am today, because like the world, excuse my language, the world is fucked up. So like if you're a weak individual, not just in gangs, throughout the world, you know, you get stomped on by people. So I embrace what the streets taught me, because now as a professional, I know how to I know how to fend for my own, so to say. I know how to I know how not to get trampled on. Why? Because the streets taught me not to get trampled on. But now I'm a professional and I make different choices now.
Do the gangs you were involved with, did they allow females? And if so, if not, what role did females have in the...
Females, yeah, I mean, it's predominantly males engage in physical gang violence, but females play a factor in that. Like, just because they're not in the gangs and like maybe not representing, there's always females around. So I see that they played a factor, whether they were partying or whether we were doing drugs or whether they were holding the gun. You know, it's like I said, it's predominantly males that are doing it, but women are definitely in there. They're definitely a part of the story.
Was mainly the conflict with other Hispanic, Mexican gangs, or did you also get involved in conflicts with African American gangs, Asian gangs?
The conflict within other races is what is in that community. This is East Los Angeles. So there is hundreds of thousands of nothing but Mexican Latinos. You'll have another race here and there, a couple white people, a couple Asian, but it is 98% Mexican. So the gang violence is gonna be with Mexicans. You go to South Central, there's it breaks into different factors. So then there's gonna be tension amongst that, and that's just how gangs work, you know. And more than likely, when you go in a certain culture, and there's gangs of a certain culture, they don't really mix. There's gonna be some type of conflict because these cultures are different, so the gangs are different. Unless sometimes you might run into a community where they're just like they just intermingle and they become something, but more than likely race is going to play a factor if there's a huge population of different races in the community.
Today, when you see a young gang member in the streets, do you stop to tell them anything, or you just let them?
You know what? I like, my family is still involved in gangs, so when I see a young gang member, I've learned through experience, you can't change a person till the person wants to change. So, like, it's kind of like a waste of my breath, because he didn't just become a gang member out of nowhere. There was he grew up a certain way and finally became what he became. So like for me to tell him, hey bro, like you're gonna go straight to jail. Like he already has told himself this story, you know. And yeah, I could go out of my way, but I can't save millions of people, you know. So I've learned that the strongest way for me to affect people is to keep on doing what I'm doing, and through that they'll see the light, and I'm telling my story, and through that's what will make people change. But I kind of see that it's useless sometimes to tell somebody that's not ready, and I can't just go pick out individuals and be like, oh, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? People are going to be ready when they're ready.
Can you tell us a little bit about where you're at right now in your life and how you got to that point from your past life?
Well, right now, I have a career. I have a profession. I'm professional at what I do. I'm a professional actor, and but like I'm living. My bills are taken care of. My kids are taken care of. But like what I feel is the ultimate give back and the ultimate thing that I receive is being able to express my story to people that come from the same places I come from. And that's where I'm at right now. You know, I'm young, I'm in a good place, and I have my whole life ahead of me, and till I die, that'll be my, that'll be the way, that'll be how I'm gonna do it. Like I'm gonna keep on expressing this and telling people that you can change, and showing them the route, and it's up to them to take it if they want.
What organizations are you involved with? I know you are involved with you received an award from Homeboy Industries.
Yeah.
How are you involved with them? Are you involved in any other?
Or organizations, I'm kind of I don't really jump into any organizations because I don't represent any organizations. I represent me. And Homeboys is where I came out of, and Father Greg Boyle is the one that helped me. So I did graduate through the program and I received the award. And I still work with everybody. Anybody that is trying to achieve what I'm trying to achieve, then I'll work with them. But as far as being like attached to any organization, that's I'm on my own, and I help out. And like I said, I work with whoever.
If you could start your life all over again, knowing what you know now, would you change anything?
I wouldn't change nothing in my life due to the fact that if I was to change, then I couldn't relate to the kids, to the millions or hundreds of thousands of kids that are going through what I went through. So I see myself as I had to go through what I had to go through in order to have the message come out raw and real.
Being a parent now, is there any ways that you think that you have learned from how your parents were to your own kid? Like about as far as if they want to get involved in games or their
yeah, I mean, of course, being a parent, like, it's really like right now these times are vital. As my daughter, having a newborn due this summer, and then my daughter's 5 and my son's 11, and but these years are real vital because like these kids are not with you. My kids are not with me forever, and as I said previously, like this world it's screwed up, man. It's hard out here, you know, and I have to prepare my children to be able to fend for themselves because I can't be there forever.
What are your feelings now towards gangs? Like, just in general, what do you think that we need them as a society, that they're vital to our culture, to people growing as an individual?
I think that gangs get a bad rap because society needs to point their fingers at somebody, and gangs are always the ones they point their fingers at. But there's thousands of other individuals that do acts like gang members but don't get the rap just because they're not from a gang. There's thousands of people that rape. You know, I'm not saying that gangs just rape, you know, but like there's thousands of other people, but they don't get their finger pointed at them. People murder, people commit assaults, people commit every violent act you could think of, but they don't automatically get that, you know, get that bad rap. But not all gang members are the worst of the worst, you know. Gang members grow up in this, you know, and not all of them end up going to prison. Not all of them end up dead, you know. A large majority do, but it's just a part of life that people in communities have to walk through, you know, and it sucks. But as far as being needed, no, I mean, definitely, I mean, we don't need gang members. I mean, that would be great, like if they didn't exist, you know. But it's like saying, do we need bad people? Like, no, we don't need them, but they exist, and to just, I think, to accept it, just accept it for what it is, and stop pointing your fingers and try to make change. I think that's what needs to be done.
There's a new scientific research that suggests that there's a genetic mutation that's correlated within most members that join a gang that's like based on your aggression. What do you think about it?
I think it's a bunch of crap, man. I mean, like, gang members, I mean, a scientific, like, there's no science that could take you to these neighborhoods and show you that this stuff has been happening since the 1950s, the 1960s. That's the proper story, and it's just like everybody in the world does bad in every culture, you know. But I just think like they try to explain what gangs are, but it's what gang members are is just these kids that wanted to belong to something. Some people belong to fraternities, and they go and they get drunk and they have sex with women all day, every day. You know, some women go to college and become promiscuous and sleep with hundreds of men. But so how much better are they? You know, some people become millionaires and then do fraud and take from these innocent people. But are they better than the gang member? They're still hurting people. They're still hurting themselves. So what's the difference?
What message, if any, do you have for young teens?
My message for young teens is that sometimes we depend on adults' voices and adults' thoughts to steer us the right way, and it's sad to say that sometimes adults are not the right story. You know, they're not showing us the right direction, and sometimes it's okay to question it. You know, if that person is in a good state and you feel like a good energy, then yeah, then pay attention. You know, but don't always believe what people say. But if you find that great mentors, like I have been blessed with, then stick with them, because they're hard to come by.
Shifting onto your career, what are some of the films that you've done, things that you've been involved with?
My career started off with TNT, Southland, music. I've worked with Bruno Mars on his music video. I've worked with Jake Gyllenhaal, Michael Peña in The Watch. I worked with Damian Bichar, got nominated for an Oscar for A Better Life. I have worked with Ridley Scott on The Counselor, which featured Javier Bardem, Penelope Cruz, Brad Pitt. I have worked with, I worked on Snitch, starring The Rock. And I'm going to be working in New Mexico on Bloodfather, starring Mel Gibson. And I just picked up a new, and I'm a series regular on a new ABC series called American Crime, which starts filming this summer and coming out this season.
What has been your experience as a Mexican American in the Hollywood lifestyle, Hollywood, being surrounded with other people that aren't necessarily used to working with a Mexican, more having like a Mexican mother lawn, and instead of actually working with them as peer to peer?
It hasn't been anything like wow, like it's just that they're not used to seeing us. They think that we belong to something. So of course I went through the motions of being like, oh, you're just gonna be a gang member for the rest of your career, and having to just deal with doing these certain roles, you know. But it all comes down to, if you work just as hard and you sacrifice just as much, you're gonna be great. There's no reason why they're not gonna pick you for the role. And maybe you might have a few obstacles against you, you know. But if you're hot, you're hot. If you bring the noise, you bring the noise. And I hate telling myself that sad story that everybody says, like, oh, I'm Latino, or I'm a gang member and I can't do this, man. Like, if you work just as hard, that's why I have what I have. Nobody gave me nothing. I worked my butt off and I sacrificed everything for the craft of acting, and that's why I got what I got.
You speak with such passion. What drives you?
The reason why I have passion, I think it is just because I know what storytelling, what acting, what giving back could do. You know, like, you could change a life. You know, you could save a life. You could say, and to me that's the most precious thing ever. You know, like that. That's why I speak with passion and like I do theater, you know, and the ultimate form of acting is relating to another person and opening your heart, and their heart opens with you, you know, like just crying out there in theater, not to feel sorry for me, because these feelings that I have are real, and when you do that, you affect other people in a positive way. And at the end of the day, like, we're all in this together. We're all hurting inside. We built this facade, but at the end of the day, everybody's hurting, you know, everybody's lost, trying to find themselves. And I think that's why I have passion.